Hi, Kevin Coop here, and this is FaceTime with the Content Guy. So yeah, I'm back in my kitchen. After a 5-week run in which I was out looking at different kinds of retailers in Washington State and California, I'm actually back home. And I thought it was pretty interesting, some of the pieces we did over the last 5 weeks, ranging from the Starbucks Roastery in Seattle to Kroger's new Main and Vine concept, to the Grand Central Market in downtown Los Angeles, to the Northgate Gonzalez Market in Norwalk, California. These were all great examples of retailers who are doing a really interesting and wonderful job about differentiating themselves, about making themselves competitive, not just with other brick and mortar retailers, but also with e-commerce. Because the goal, the subtext is always, how do I get people to leave home? How do I get people to come to my store as opposed to somebody else's store? That's always what they have to do. The competition is greater than ever. They have to find new and interesting and unique ways to do it. But you know, while that's really, really important, I think there's something also at play here that the industry really has to pay attention to. And it's a way not just of getting millennials to leave home and come out to the store, but also getting them to spend the less money that they're going to have to spend on things, getting them to spend with you. That's a very, very difficult thing. Now, I was just reading a study from Wallet Hub that basically looked at the college debt load that millennials are taking on as they kind of embark on their adulthoods. And it's interesting. One of the things the study said is that many college students have a college debt load that makes up 18% of their annual income. Okay, 18%. And experts say that 10% would be considered crushing, and they're carrying 18% or in some cases more. That's extraordinary. Now, many of these people are going to carry that debt load into their 30s and their 40s and maybe beyond. Many of these people are going to default on that debt at some point. And what is that going to do to their credit and their ability to spend money on other things? In a lot of cases, they just can't keep up with it. 40%. One number says that 40% of those people are not going to be able to keep up with the debt. This is an enormous problem for this country. And listen, as far as I'm concerned, it's something that has to be dealt with from a public policy point of view. This is the kind of thing that our elected officials should be looking at and figuring out how to deal with it and how to help people through it, how to help people go to school and how to reduce the debt. And I'm in favor, and I'm not in favor of people who just say, well, we're just going to have the economy do better so they make more money, because I don't think that's an appropriate response. And I don't think it's an appropriate response to say, well, we'll just make public college free for everybody. But I think there has to be a public policy way of dealing with it. I'm not a one-issue voter, but that certainly would be in the top 4 or 5 issues for me. Let's put the political side of it aside, though. I think as retailers continue to develop strategies and formats, the notion that people are not going to have as much money to spend is got to be right near the top of their minds. That doesn't mean they're not going to be these people are not going to want to indulge themselves. They're not going to want new and interesting products. I think they will, but they simply may be looking for places where they can do it in an efficient manner, an effective manner. They can spend a little bit less money. And listen, it's not just the food industry that's going to be facing this, right? These young people are not going to have money to spend on houses. They're not going to have the money to spend on cars. They're not going to have money to spend on having kids. They're not going to have money to spend on food. And by the way, with all this crushing debt, I don't know how this generation is going to look at sending their kids to college. And in some cases, it's just going to be enormous. Now, listen. This is a lot of resonance for me because we've been really, really lucky. Now, 9 days from today, my youngest, my only daughter, is going to graduate from college. And we've been lucky enough to put her in a position where when she walks down that, away from that stage with her college diploma in hand, she has absolutely no student debt. Absolutely none. She also, by the way, won't have a job. Now, I will tell you, she's a criminal justice major, Quinnipiac University. She's a Dean's List student, really, really smart kid, president of the campus chapter of the National Criminal Justice Honor Society. So if you know anybody at the FBI, the CIA, or Homeland Security that's looking for somebody really, really young and really, really bright, do me a favor, let me know. But here's the interesting thing to me. The community in Connecticut where I live, which is a suburb of New York City, actually, the study, it ranked like 2,500 different communities. We're ranked actually as one of the best communities in the country in terms of the ratio of student debt to the median income of adults between the ages of 25 and 44. And in this community, it's 18%. Okay? It ends up that the worst community, at least according to this study, among the 2,500 that were analyzed, is only 130 miles from here. It's Voorhees, New Jersey. And in Voorhees, New Jersey, debt accounts for, wait for it, 174%. 174% of the median income of adults ages 25 to 44. I gotta be honest, if I had that kind of debt, I don't even know if I could get up in the morning. This is just an enormous problem, and these dominoes are going to continue to fall. I think it's something with which public policy has to really focus, but I also think it's something that business has to think about. As the food business especially starts to think about how are we going to cater to these young people, how are we going to offer them products and formats that are going to appeal to them, that are going to be relevant to them, the crushing level of student debt that they have to face has to be something that's on the industry's mind. If the industry doesn't think about it, then other formats are going to be able to come in and they're going to have an enormous impact on attracting these young people. And by the way, if you're a retailer and you're thinking to yourself, well, you know, I'm a good standard middle of the road, traditional retailer, and I don't think I'm going to be affected by retailers like Aldi or Lidl when they come to town, you are delusional, especially when you look at this level of student debt. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this Thursday morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.